Alright, we got more Lakers in the gym. It's not only Luka Doncic. We've been following the Luka Doncic weight watch, muscle watch, whatever you want to call it. But he does in fact have other teammates that are working on their game, working on their body, and trying to improve for next season. And today we got Rui Hachimura and Dalton Knecht. Pictures of them working out, and that ultimately leads me thinking about what they should be trying to improve upon, what their outlook should be next season, and if they can get more on the court and for the Lakers team rather than through a trade with their trade value. So we're going to talk about that today and what they should be looking to work on throughout the offseason. But before we get too far into it, if you're new around here, I genuinely would appreciate it if you took a brief moment to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But now getting back to our topic, and beginning with Rui Hachimura here, a guy that's been put in the trade machine quite often by Laker fans, and the discussion really comes down to, can he give them more through the trade machine or in a real life trade, or can he give them more on the court, and especially if he improves his game for next season? And well, that's up for debate here, but talking about what Rui Hachimura did for them last season was fairly impressive in some areas, not so much in other areas, and the impressive part was once again his 3-point shooting and overall offense in general, averaging roughly 13 points per game, shooting a team high 41.3% for the field, which was, believe it or not, actually worse compared to the prior season, shooting 42.2% back in 2023-24, also a team high, but he did improve his shooting volume a little bit, albeit getting roughly 5 minutes more on the court, so not really, but still did remain a 50% from the field kind of guy, a 40% from the 3-point line, and roughly an 80% free throw shooter. So no matter what way you look at it, very efficient for him. That actually translated to a true shooting average of roughly 62%, very impressive as well. And all around a good fit on the court with both Luka Doncic, pre-Luka Doncic, really showed to be a good offensive fit with ball-dominant players in general, and that's obviously a good thing to point to with Rui Hachimura. Obviously Luka will be back. LeBron confirmed that he will be back for their team, whether that's opting into his player option, a different contract, we don't know yet, but he will be back with their team, likely having Austin Reeves back with their team, so you gotta have 3-point shooters around them. Guys that are comfortable in that catch and shoot role, have proven to be efficient 3-point shooters, efficient catch and shoot guys, and Hachimura has proven to be that for them. However, apart from the offense and apart from the 3-point shooting, there definitely is a lot more that Hachimura doesn't quite live up to. One of which being defense. Not a great individual defender, isn't great at defending one-on-one matchups on the perimeter, also not very good at playing help defense or help side rim protection. Not really a good defensive role for Rui Hachimura out there, especially given the fact that the one he probably would be best at is currently filled by LeBron at power forward. So that's definitely a problem for him. I'd love to say that he will improve on defense, but year after year now, he's really not shown any improvement. Neither in regard to lateral mobility and defending the perimeter, in regard to help defense or team defense, not really showing much improvement. He's not outright terrible, but he's definitely not a good defender, and probably even below average at that. And then for another flaw with him, I definitely would point to rebounding. For a guy that's 6'8", with a 7'2" wingspan and weighing between 230 and 240, he himself even said that he's over 230. Can't find the interview for that, but he did confirm that. He doesn't really play like it, neither in regard to defense or rebounding. Yes, he did average 5 rebounds per game last season, which was an improvement compared to 2022-23 and 23-24, but when you translate it to per 36-minute average, he didn't actually improve anything. Actually at getting a little bit worse compared to both, dropping down from 5.8 rebounds per 36 in 2023-24 down to 5.7 this season. So once again, not really showing any improvement in this area, and while I'd love to say that he will show improvement or maybe his time in the gym will help him get better in this area, probably not very likely unfortunately. Whether he would get bigger really isn't the physical player with a physical mindset to dominate the glass or be a physical player around the rim on defense, and then if he would get bigger, that would probably even hurt him more on defense in regard to defending the perimeter and switching on defense too. So not really a good pathway for Hachimura here, unfortunately. And that kind of begs the question of, should they trade him or should they keep him with what he currently offers and knowing that it probably won't get much better? And well, once again, that's up for debate here. I'm definitely not opposed to trading Rui Hachimura, but it has to be for the right trade. Players I've mentioned that I would trade him for include guys like Andrew Wiggins, for example, directly pointing to a better, more suited guy for a 3-and-D role that they kind of want Hachimura to fill. Wiggins, for example, would be a better fit for their starting lineup, kind of targeting a guy like that in general, a bigger 3-and-D wing that's both an upgrade on offense and defense. That's the kind of player that I would trade Rui Hachimura for, but it wouldn't simply be for anyone. I wouldn't go trading him for a guy that's not an obvious upgrade and not a better long-term fit than Hachimura. If he can offer significantly more on offense or on defense, then I'm definitely not going to trade Hachimura. And it's really not as easy as some might think. Whether you're on the side of definitively keeping him or trading him, I don't think it's that easy. I'm somewhere more in the middle on Hachimura. I'd love to keep him, but with the lack of trade assets and lack of salary to trade via trade, especially if they're not trading Austin Reeves, which is not very likely, then it's going to be really hard to upgrade their team without trading Rui Hachimura. So that's kind of what it comes down to with him. Again, if he could magically improve on defense and or rebounding, then definitely don't trade him. But at the end of the day here, I don't find it very likely. I'd love for that to happen, but year after year now again, it simply doesn't happen. Isn't the physical player on defense or rebounding, and I really don't see him improving on either end, unfortunately. Even without that though, you can't take his offense and overall efficiency for granted. So if you're gonna trade Rui Hachimura, it better be for the right player and a definitive fit upgrade over him. But then moving on to Dalton Knecht, and actually pointing to him in the gym here and how that could benefit him more compared to Hachimura, I think he would benefit from a little bit more muscle gain or a little bit more weight gain. He's already plenty athletic, and I don't think that's in jeopardy with 5 to 10 more pounds of muscle. I think he'd actually benefit more from it. I wouldn't say he got pushed around during his rookie year. That was more so the benefit of him being a 5-year college player that had a pretty filled out frame for a rookie. Again, didn't really get pushed around, but I think he would still benefit from a little more muscle gain, simply being a bit more physical, and maybe that weight gain would help him out with that, both offensively and defensively. Learning to initiate body contact a bit more on offense, and then learning to absorb it better on defense. I think that would definitely help for Dalton Knecht. But apart from the physicality standpoint and the weight gain standpoint, what Dalton Knecht did during his rookie year and how to improve it, the expectations for him, there definitely are a few things to point to with him. Now offensively, I think he did play pretty well. Some fans kind of pointed to him being a bit up and down throughout the year. I think that's more so from the constantly changing role, whether that's being their 6th man for a time period, their 9th man off the bench, even being their starting lineup for 16 games, in which he played very well by the way, averaging roughly 17 points per game on 39% 3-point shooting in that time frame. So yeah, very impressive. But like I said, also transitioning between that to then playing a 5 to 10 minute per game kind of role off the bench, and it's very hard for a player, let alone a rookie, to find a rhythm in that kind of role. So really not going to complain too much about Knecht with that. I think he showed plenty offensively, proved to be every bit of the guy that came out of college, and the 3-level scoring ability that was supposed to come with him. I think he proved that. Especially for a rookie, he showed it, I think he can improve on it, and even if he would simply just maintain that, that would still be enough for him to be a 15 to 20 minute per game kind of player for a 10+ year NBA career. So yeah, not too bad. But how he can attain more than that and become more than that, that would be a combination of becoming a better defender. I think that's priority number 1 for him. Then again, with the physicality, learning to both initiate and absorb contact a bit better, really on both ends of the court. Simply learning the nuances of the game a bit better, both offensively and defensively, more so defensively though. Primarily in regard to team defense and when to rotate on defense, when to hit the nail, when to veer, all that kind of stuff. Don't think Knecht's got work to do in this area. It's not really about one-on-one defense with him. I think that's actually the best part of his defensive game, when he's actually isolated and gets a chance to stay with one player and not have to run around screens or rotate on defense again. That's, I think, where he showed the best ability, that being one-on-one perimeter defense. I mean, I know some people like to act like he's not a good athlete or even an NBA level athlete in general, but that's simply not the case here. We're talking about a guy that measured with a 37-inch vertical at the draft combine, with great north to south speed, great lateral mobility, and all around is a good athlete, so I'm not worried about that at all. He definitely can improve on defense with athletic ability. He's even more athletic than a whole lot of players that try to attack him, so if he can apply that with better knowledge on defense, better team defensive skills, and again simply learning the game a bit better, I'm very confident in his ability to at least become average on defense, if not even above average too. but he's got to get to that point and do it pretty quickly, because if not, then both the fan base and the team might become a bit impatient with him and maybe push and lean in the direction more of trading him again. And you know, that's definitely going to be a tough task for him with, again, their current limited trade assets, not only with Rui Hachimura, but then himself, Dalton Knecht, their 2031 future first-round draft pick, then their expiring contracts. There's not a whole lot of value outside of that besides Dalton Knecht here. So he's got to prove it throughout the summer, early on during the NBA season, if he makes it to that point, which I personally do hope he does, unless they find the perfect trade for him. He's got to show a lot and do it pretty quickly too. I mean, he's probably worth around a first-round draft pick yet. Jovan Buha says that it's not a good first-round draft pick anymore, saying that at one time he was worth maybe 2 first-round draft picks. Not sure I quite believe that, but with the really short-term memory that tends to be pretty common in the NBA, both by the fan base and even NBA teams themselves, that could both hurt and even help Dalton Knecht too. Hurt him in the fact that people might forget and really have forgotten about what he did during college and then during the beginning part of his NBA career, between what he did in their starting lineup like I pointed to, or simply how well he played offensively and how quickly he adapted to it, but then also the fact that it might help him a little bit because people forgot what he did at the end of the season, that he could quickly make them forget that with some good preseason action or even throughout training camp, whatever it might be. Really doubt he plays the summer league, but I guess you never know. It's kind of a lopsided thing, but it could indirectly help him and hurt him at the same time. So I guess we'll watch how it plays out for him. And well, between Dalton Knecht and Rui Hachimura, definitely a lot I'd like to see from them. Not sure how much we can hope for with Rui Hachimura at this point. I think he's kind of at ceiling, especially in the role that he plays for their team. But for Dalton Knecht, not anywhere near it in my opinion. Between defensively what he can do, you know, obviously individual defense, but even more so team defense, a lot of improvement to be had here at Dalton Knecht. And then even offensively, you know, even how good he is, he can become better, more efficient, more reliable, even more deadly in regard to the 3-point shooting. Definitely a lot to like about the upside of Dalton Knecht, but there is some downside to it too with how much they need trade assets, so again, it will be a difficult decision for them, but it shouldn't be an easy one in regard to simply trading him. And with all of that being said, what do you guys think? How do you feel about Dalton Knecht and Rui Hachimura entering the offseason and what they should be looking to work on to prevent them from ending up in trades? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one. And if you enjoyed the video, then I'll greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.